And so I'm a product of mentorship. I went and tucked myself and found the best people who were in my space early on because I was trying to build my business back in 1997 on the back of speaking. I was introduced to Jim Rohn, and he became a personal mentor of mine, and he kind of taught me some of the ropes, and I got to see the inside of his mastermind. He had a mastermind group of 8. Zig Ziglar was in it, Jim Rohn, Larry Wilson, and I got to see how they operated and how they all created business for each other. So that set up a bunch of ideas in my head. And then I went and tucked myself under the wing of the greatest mental game coach on the planet. This guy, Harvey Dorfman, known as the Yoda of baseball, worked with every big name baseball player there was. And I went and spent 33 days with him at his home during the baseball off season. I saw how he worked with the best of the best. Like when you're sitting there and you're next to, or really I was sitting behind Harvey, and I watched him coach Andy Pettit, right? Like, and then the very next day, Craig Biggio comes in, and these huge names, and every single context I had about what it would be like working with the best of the best, all of my assumptions were broken. I saw what it was that it took. So that's a big part of the story of how I built this big peak performance company and worked with people like Kobe and Cristiano Ronaldo and others, is relationships and being humble enough to tuck yourself under the wing of people that were far smarter and better than myself at the time.
If you wouldn't have had that advice from your parents, obviously they had massive trustworthiness with you, and you knew to listen how you see them live their life. You knew to listen to them. How does someone today, if they don't have that parental advice or someone that they trust for 10 or 15 or 20 years, this might go back to Tyson and his mentor that found him, that he then trusted what he said. How do we know who to listen to and who to trust?
Yeah, well, the first thing, it's a really good question, especially in today's day and age where everyone postures like they're an expert online or they have their entire lives figured out. Like, I mean, I tell people all the time, like, listen, I am fucking world class at 2 things. And, I look at just my own track record of the people that I've worked with and who keeps on coming back to me and how my name is in the certain space that I operate. And all those things are messages that I must be pretty damn good at what I do. But I don't sit around and tell you that I've got everything figured out about how this universe operates. And a lot of people speak with that kind of, posturing confidence that is a pretty good litmus test right off the bat, that they're shades of, a straw house that they've kind of built themselves on. But I'll give you something really practical that I give advice to young people all the time about, which is, if someone isn't actually a practitioner of what it is they're trying to tell you to go and do, like they don't work with people in my world one-on-one. So for example, someone's telling you how to market your business. Okay, well, I would much rather listen to someone who's an agency owner who actually executes marketing campaigns daily across multiple types of businesses or multiple types of clients than someone who is showing you what they did to create success in their world. Because that's not necessarily a one-trick pony, but that's anecdotal evidence, right? Like when it comes to mental game work or peak performance work, there's just not a lot of people who have the reps that I do working with people one-on-one. And so I would just say to people, like, when you're consuming information or a diet, whether it's books or whether it's YouTube videos or whatever, just double tap and look a little bit deeper at the person or the channel or whoever it is and go, yeah, but do they actually do this work with people every day? And if they don't do it and they're just giving you advice from their own experience, that's fine. There could be value in it, but you need to put an asterisk next to it because that's their personal journey.
Would you, not to invoke a name that you didn't, but it just strikes me of, like, you brought up marketing and a marketing agency, and GaryVee popped in my head. And he recently wrote the book, Day Trading Attention. It's the evolution of all the books that he wrote. And if anybody opens up that book, it shows you exactly what he does. And so I'm sure whether you don't have to be a fan or not, but that's what you're talking about versus someone that just says, look, I've kind of played around in marketing. I kind of did this thing. I'm assuming those document receipts are what you're talking about.
Yeah. And I mean, love him or hate him with Gary. And I know Gary quite well. His office was actually next to mine in New York City.
Hudson Yards and his new one.
Yeah, exactly. That's where my office is as well. And you could actually go back to some of the things that he said when he was just doing Wine Library TV, which is when, I mean, I met Gary back in those days. New York City's still a small enough town where you cross paths with people a lot. And there's a lot of things that he predicted that were, pretty on the head. So yes, that's an example of someone that is a practitioner of the stuff. Like he went out and put his money where his mouth is and he started an agency. Now, is he personally executing? No, but he's around and he's in meetings with people who are executing the campaigns and he's creating a massive feedback loop of information. So yeah, not to go deep on it, but it's a good example.
Yeah. So I think you mentioned Larry Wilson. Was that the guy's name who was the one that was mentally working with all the baseball players?
No, that was Harvey Dorfman.
Harvey Dorfman. So did he play baseball?
He did, but not necessarily. He didn't play it at a professional level or anything like that. No.
That's funny how he became the person that's what he specialized in with those guys.
Yeah. Harvey's real specialty and what I got to see behind the scenes of was, I'm not going to bring up the baseball player's name, but arguably top 20 baseball player of all time. Some people would probably put him in top 3 at his position. And he was the first professional that I saw Harvey work with. And he was unpacking some stuff around just what was going on in his personal life. And he was bringing me like 2 minutes, kind of almost complaining about his wife. And then Harvey leaned forward. He's like, "Are you done being a pussy ass bitch?" Excuse the language. That's exactly what he said verbatim. And the ball player sat back. He's like, "Yeah, I think I'm done. Just needed to get that off." And I sat there going, "Wait, you got to remember." So this is 2000. I'm 3 years into my thing, but I'm only working with like amateur athletes at the time. And I wasn't anywhere near getting a sniff of a legend of a game. And I was like, "Oh wait, you can talk to people like that?" Now, again, I come from a farm and ranch, very plain speaking. It's how my dad spoke as well. He didn't swear, but very plain speaking stuff. And it was almost, I had an excuse that I could just be more myself with people. And that it was about those athletes. The reason that they really deeply resonated with Harvey and why he had the best name there was in baseball, is because they knew that he had their back and he wasn't going to sugarcoat anything. And that just completely aligned with the way that I am or became as with my clients as well. So trust was really the thing that he was trading on more than anything. And that became exactly what I was now trading with clientele as well. Because when you're working people on the mental game, I need, like, Mark, with you, if I'm truly working with you privately, I need the full scope of like how you perceive things and how you're looking at something. And when you're at the professional level and you, especially nowadays with so many people who want to trade on your name and want things from you and they don't genuinely have your best interests at heart, there's very few people who these individuals can truly trust. And that's really what our, value exchange is that.